Today we're going to talk about accessing your intuition. So in times of stress and really challenging times like what you're either going through or potentially going to go through, it's really important to understand the difference between all the crazy talk we get in our head and also really accessing our intuition. So I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dave. His business is Your Messages
from Beyond.
From Beyond.
Yeah.
And Dave is a psychic medium and he does a number of things in his business. So we are going to talk about intuition, but first I want basically you to let us know what it is that you do.
I am a psychic medium.
Yes.
So one of my specialties is that I was born with the gift of being able to connect people with their loved ones who have actually departed and crossed over.
Mm-hmm.
That's a special gift that not all of us are born with it. You'll find that your children are, but as they get older it dissipates. But the other side of things is I'm also a psychic as well, which means is that I have the beauty of tuning into not only my intuition and spirit guides, but other people's as well that are looking for life guidance and getting answers that are already in their head. Everyone's intuitive, everyone has the answers.
Right.
My job is to see it, tell them that's what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing, and give them that guidance to get to where they want to get to.
Beautiful.
And help them through their life.
Okay, cool. So let's start with maybe what is intuition? For those who've heard it but don't quite understand or aren't connected to their intuition, like what is it?
Intuition, it can be many different things. For me as a psychic, it's basically intuition is another word for our own psychic ability. Yeah. Everybody that walks this earth is a psychic. We all have this knowing of, I knew that was going to happen, or I had a feeling that was going to happen. You may be thinking of someone next to you, they pop up in front of you, go, oh my God, I was just thinking about you.
It's like those little synchronicities that happen.
Absolutely.
That you just kind of go, wow, that was weird.
That was weird. Or that's intuition.
Right.
You know, sometimes you just know when something's right or something is wrong.
Yeah. And
you just have this feeling about it. Everyone talks about, I had this feeling this was going to happen, and it actually happened.
Yeah.
That is your intuition. That is your psychic ability.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is you're using it all day, every day, without realising that you're a psychic.
So how is that different then? Because this is what a lot of people say too. Oh, don't put that out there, right? Don't manifest that. I think this is going to happen. And don't put that out there. What's then the difference, or what would you say to that?
First of all, be careful what you think. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
If you're in a negative state of mind, don't think about it too much.
Yeah.
Because what happens is there is law of attraction.
Yeah.
You think negative, all of a sudden that negative will start to happen. So you got those people out there go, oh, all the bad things always happen to me. It's because they're creating it.
They're expecting it.
You meet someone, you go, God, I love that person. They've got such great vibes.
Yeah.
And when you step back and you look at their life's incredible. Why? It's because they're in that high vibration. They're in that high energy.
Right.
So high energy creates happiness.
Yeah.
Low energy or vibrations creates negative.
Okay.
So you've got to try your best, no matter what's going on in your life, to always think positive.
Yeah.
So out of every negative, there's always a positive.
Yeah.
You just got to search for it
Yeah.
and be ready and open-minded about things.
Okay.
Don't be closed off. Don't be scared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so being scared, this is a good point, right? So I know all too well with a lot of women that I work with in that we get stuck, especially when we're going through separation, divorce. There's all these fears that come up. Oh my God, I won't be able to control what happens when the kids aren't with me, and all of these fears. What if I don't find somebody again, and a whole range of fears. So being able to then recognize what is a fear, whether you're being positive or negative, what is just a fear, versus maybe not being able to recognize it, but being able to then switch that off and go, okay, coming back to what I know or what I fear. Like, what do you tell your clients that you meet when they go down that path of fears that are all mind-based? How do you work with them in that?
It's a really good question, that one. This is something that comes up almost every time in a reading.
Really?
There is two major motivations in our life. There is love and there is fear.
Yep.
Fear is an ego.
It is
so
ego, yes.
Ego is something that stops us from doing something.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not good enough to get there.
Yeah.
Or I'm not worthy of being in this type of position. We need some sort of ego to stop us from doing really silly things where it can really hurt us,
Right.
but we need to control it.
Yeah.
But if you are motivated by love of who you are, what you are, and have belief in yourself, no matter how hard things get, you will always get to the positives, and you fight for yourself, you will find that when you're motivated by the love and you allow fear to go away, you will always find the peace and happiness that you've actually been searching for.
Yeah, cool.
Sometimes it's really difficult for people to control that fear.
Yeah.
As we are all psychic, we all have different abilities that can help us with the ego, with that fear.
Yeah.
There is, what we all have is three major clairs. Clairvoyance, which is seeing things within your mind. You see symbolic messages. We all have clairaudience, which is we hear messages. We're always talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
Should I or shouldn't be? That's where ego or the fear can really play on you. Because you can start talking to yourself in a negative way and you start believing that negativity.
Yeah.
The best one that I need people to really understand is clairsentience, which is your gut feeling. If you decide that you want to break free of something, and all of a sudden you start to get the tingles or goosebumps, or the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, that is your indication that you're thinking right.
Yeah, I love that feeling.
If you decide to go do something and all of a sudden you have this sick feeling in your gut, your mind's telling you to do something, but your gut is telling you something different. It's like, oh, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
You need to listen to that.
Yeah.
I've, even myself as a psychic, go through times in my life where my mind goes out of control.
Yeah.
It's about kind of just stopping, taking a deep breath, reminding yourself you are okay. And then starting to trust the different abilities that we all have. So you know that your mind is, I'm thinking way too much.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
What's your gut really telling you? And you've really got to trust what's going on. And that's the key, the word trust. You and I and other people can trust each other. Trusting your own self is the most difficult thing you can do.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
So one thing I'd like to get people to understand is the most important person in your life is your own self. Before your children, before your partner, before your friends. Because if you put yourself first, and I don't mean doing that in a selfish way, but you put your needs of maybe just taking an hour out of your day to go for a walk, to calm yourself. What that does is it creates this energy within yourself to go, okay, I'm feeling better. So my kids aren't going to get the stress side of me, or my partner's not going to get the stress side of me, or my work colleagues aren't going to get the stress side of me.
Yeah, right.
And it's a really understanding that if you put other people's needs and wants before your own self, you're damaging yourself.
Totally agree.
So you've got to learn to understand that we do need a certain amount of fear or ego, but it must be controlled.
Yeah, can't override.
Can't override.
And making decisions out of fear is where it gets dangerous.
And that's where people go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't always believe, though, that we make the wrong decisions. Even though at the time it seems wrong, you'll find that weeks, months, even years ahead, I understand why I made that decision.
What was the lesson in it? What did
Absolutely.
I learn from it? All of those things. So you mentioned about, putting yourself, making decisions for everybody else and not yourself. And this is a common problem that I know women do all the time, especially mums and working mums. And I've spoken about this before, and this is, when you put your health on the back burner, everything else on the back burner for everybody else. And you hear words like, I have to, I should, all of these words of have tos, it's really, really destroying. And something that I also talk to women about, especially women, is if you're actually sitting there thinking, I have to, whether it's self-loving versus selfish. So everybody has this question of, well, if I'm being self-loving, I'm being selfish.
And that's the problem people
That's the problem, exactly. So if you're being selfish, the way I see that is if you're doing something that is only going to serve you and it's going to hurt other people, then that's selfish. But if you're going to do something for somebody else and you also get something from it as well, there's a win-win relationship between the two people, then that's a really good distinction to go, well, am I being self-loving? Yes, I probably am. Or am I being selfish? And it gets really confusing, though, in marriages when you're thinking, well, I want to do something self-loving for me, and of course it's not going to be the right thing for my partner because they might not want to split up, I might want to, or what have we. And so this is where people get really confused over the whole self-love versus selfish. And we can spiral into but I deserve, I deserve, I deserve, I deserve. And I
Mhm.
feel like that is the flip side of the ego, which is not based on fear, but it's based on desire.
To stop that,
Yeah.
it's about communication.
Communication in what way?
Everyone needs to have a moment in the day or their week to have that self-love.
Mm-hmm.
If they're worried about how the other person is going to react to it, you've got to just let them know, I am going through this at this moment.
Mm.
I just need an hour of my day or a night with my friends to go and have a drink, have some dinner, just so I can come back and be a better version of me for when we have our time.
Beautiful.
That's what it's simply about.
Yeah.
And
love it.
all of that problem will go away.
Mm. So communication with those around you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So your
If
family,
you
your
can't
friends,
communicate
your
how
household.
you're feeling and just saying, I'm doing everything for everybody,
Mm.
I haven't done anything for myself. I just need a night with my friends just to go and have dinner.
Mm.
Unwind. So when we come back together, we're going to have the best time.
Mm.
You're going to get the best version of me. It's as simple as that.
Beautiful.
But what we do is we just snowball everything
Yeah.
in our minds.
Yeah.
It's just a simple comment.
Yeah.
And what you will understand is as soon as you have that comment made, you'll feel a sense of peace.
Mm.
Your head and your heart start to become in line.
Mm.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
The true success of life,
Yeah.
it's not about what money you have,
Mm.
where you live, what cars. If your head and your heart is in the right place,
Mm.
you have just reached success.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Everything else, because what happens is it creates happiness. It creates that energy of being, I'm in a really good
That
place.
positive energy.
And all of a sudden the abundance of love,
Yeah.
the abundance of money,
Yeah.
abundance of friends, all just start to appear
Yeah.
without you doing a single thing.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you saying is that it's about giving yourself permission to take a little bit of me time, and it's only a little bit, and it's for the good of everybody, because you can then be present as a mum, as a wife, as a partner, as a whatever. You can be more present because you've taken that little bit of time for
Absolutely.
yourself, and that's where the permission is. You've got to give yourself permission.
100%.
Yeah.
Many years ago, I went through a really, really rough time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
This is where my psychic ability really kicked in and I actually say it actually saved my life.
Okay.
One of the things that it said was, go into the mirror, look at yourself in your eyes and say something nice or what you love about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How many people do that on a daily basis?
Oh my God, no
Mm.
one. I don't know
It is
anyone.
one of the hardest things that you will do.
Mm-hmm.
What we're trying to do is play with our subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe it,
Mhm.
just keep saying it every day.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you within a week,
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, the belief will come
You'll
in.
start to believe
You'll
it.
believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I'm getting the
You're gonna use
goosebumps. The
it.
snowball effects kicks in.
Yeah, okay.
What we're doing is, we've also got to understand the words that we use as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't use the word I wish or I hope.
Mm-hmm.
They're very wishy-washy words. They're a
Mhm.
contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
What do you really want?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be happy? Then you say to yourself, I will be happy. I use that word strongly, will.
I like the I ams too. It's
Yeah,
it's about the identity.
Absolutely.
I am this.
Because what you're doing is you're taking control of your thoughts.
Mm,
You're taking control of your intentions.
mm,
If we want things to happen in our life, if we want the abundance of happiness, say that I will and I am
mm,
and I do deserve.
mm.
And don't worry about it,
Yeah.
because it will come.
Easier said than done
It's
sometimes.
hard work. It is hard work, but I promise you, it happens.
Yeah.
And that's where my role is as a psychic. Take away the medium side of things as a psychic is tuning into somebody's energy
Mm,
and picking up on those fears or those worries and going, I know that you're feeling this,
mm,
but what I actually really see is, because I'm coming from a side of my ego's not involved,
mm.
everything that I think about of the day is gone.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
purely focused on you as the person.
Yep.
And what I'm actually picking up on is, I can see that you're so scared of doing this.
Yeah.
But what I'm actually knowing is, I know that you can see that end result that you really want.
Yeah.
You just don't know how to get
Get
there.
there. Yeah.
I can see that you're going to do it, and all I'm going to do is give you that, I guess, that clarification that you are making the right decision.
Yeah.
Or if I don't feel like you're making the right decision, I can see a different pathway to get to another spot where I think is another great path for your life
Yeah.
guidance.
you can see like the bigger picture essentially.
Absolutely, because we get lost.
You do. You get really in your own world.
You do.
You can't see through, especially when you've got a lot of stress going on and a
Mhm.
lot of confusion going on. You can't quite see what's the next step. And having somebody who can do what you do and kind of see it objectively from a bigger picture perspective
Yep.
and give. So that's the life guidance side
Absolutely.
of what you do. Yeah.
What is a really beautiful thing out there as well, whether you believe it or not, is angel signs.
Yeah.
All right. When you're driving, a lot of people do a lot of their thinking, and what you don't realise is on number plates or signboards or even in songs, your answers are all there. All you've got to do is ask, is this the right thing? You know, a long time ago, I remember I was driving along and I said to myself, am I making the right decision?
Yeah.
And as I looked in front of me, there was another plate, YES. And I just went, okay.
Okay. But there's lots of other angel signs too. Like feathers are a big one too.
Feathers are signs from, if you haven't got a loved one in spirit, they're a sign from your angels to know that they are there with you.
Yeah.
What I love is numerology. And if you don't understand numerology, that's okay, but if you see repetitive numbers, like the master number 1111 or triple
or 333 or
333, just simply do what is the spiritual meaning of that number.
That number.
And you'll go,
Just
oh
Google
my
it.
God.
Yeah.
Pay attention to songs. If you have lyrics playing over in your
loved
head,
it when you said that to me because I do that now. I totally
and it's amazing
do that.
what you go, I get it why I've got this song. I haven't heard that song, but I understand what that means.
Yeah. So if you haven't, so to clarify, if you haven't heard it on the radio or it hasn't been playing recently, and you start to get a song in your head, for no apparent reason, go and look up the lyrics, and there'll be a message in the lyrics for you.
Always is. There's always a message there.
Yeah.
What you don't realise is that we've all, from the moment we were born, we've all got spirit guides and guardian angels, and they're there with us. I call mine my team. They are my team. I never feel alone.
Yeah.
And then when I'm feeling stressed, I feel my body change, I feel the energy change, and I know they're knocking on my door, and it's about finding a form of meditation to calm my mind and my body. Not everyone can sit there and chant or be still. A simple walk, 20-minute walk, reading a book, listening to music, staring at a glass of water.
Staring at a glass of water.
Staring at a glass of water.
I love the whole staring at a fire. Put light a candle, even just the flame of a candle.
The candle is another perfect form of meditation, because what you're doing is you're focusing on something. And then all of a sudden you stop forgetting about, I've got to pay this bill, or I've got to mow the lawn, or I've got to do this. Next thing you know, you start
I don't know if women have the problem with mowing the lawn, but sure, I've paying bills, yes.
You know, all of a sudden your mind just starts to become a little bit more still.
Yeah.
You stop stressing as much. You don't have that anxiety sitting in your belly.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you start to see the bigger picture of everything. So where I come into is, in my readings, I like to teach people along the way.
Now this is kind of where I wanted to get to as well with you, because if there's a lot of people who are already very clearly in touch with their intuition, and they can lose sight when they're going through challenging times. But then there's other people who don't recognise what's intuition and what isn't, and hence they're probably people who would seek out people like you more so to kind of go, help me understand, like, am I on the right track here? Tell me something. And seek verification. But learning how to do it so that you're empowering yourself to be able to, so tell me more about that.
So every time I do a reading, the most important thing that I do is I explain how the ability works.
Yeah.
Because it's not what you're going to get in my readings. All are for an hour. I don't do anything less. I just feel like I don't do justice to the person, but it's really to understand it's not what you get in that hour. It's what happens in the days, weeks, months, and even year ahead. And if you've got more of an understanding of how the psychic ability works for you, all of a sudden you have these aha moments. I remember in my reading, this is what he said.
I get it.
Yeah. Because if you don't understand it and you're just sitting there waiting for me to tell you, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. It's not about that.
No. It's not about predicting and, looking outside of yourself. It's about learning how to look within yourself.
What it is my readings are very much about what's happened in your past. So I actually pick up on your past. Traumas, situations, or what it is that you're doing. Then that moves into the present of what you're doing now, and then that's where the future then opens up and saying, this is, now we've talked about the past and the present, This is where now I can see you doing this, this, and
Yeah.
this, and I can actually see this happening, and this happening, and this happening.
Mhm.
What I do say is everything in a psychic reading is probable.
Probable.
It's probable
Okay.
because I am just a messenger.
It's not guaranteed.
No.
But it's not, you know. So you still there's still choice and
The
option.
reason
and,
being is that I am a messenger.
yeah.
I give you messages.
Mhm.
It's up to you to take those messages and do something with it.
them.
Should you do nothing with it,
Mhm.
a lot won't happen.
Yeah. Right.
Some people will say to me, oh, look, I really want to meet somebody. And I say, look, I can actually see this type of person coming into your life.
Mm.
But then they stay home and do absolutely nothing. They
Right.
never go out. What happens is that even though I can see someone coming to their life,
Yeah.
their friends all of a sudden are going to start ringing them up and saying, would you like to come out for drinks?
Ah, and they're like,
And
nah,
they go,
nah.
I don't feel
I
like
just
it.
want to stay home.
just wanna stay
yeah,
home.
I'll be at home.
All
But
of a sudden that dissipates,
the potential
goes.
is then not seized as
Absolutely.
yeah. So you've got to kind of then go. Okay,
You've got to
well,
create that
yeah.
opportunity. Oh, I'm wanting to get a new car. Well, I can see you getting a red Mazda of some sort. But if you don't go looking out
Yeah.
for the car, is it
Yeah.
going to happen? It's
Yeah.
not going to fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
So that's where I say, understand that I'm a messenger.
Yeah.
I give you those messages,
Mm.
and it's up to you to take those messages and do something with it. And that is across the whole psychic readings.
Yeah.
If you're a tarot reader or, you know, whichever type of
whatever
psychic,
discipline or modality they use.
absolutely.
Yeah.
not everything is guaranteed to happen because it's up to you to create it.
Yeah.
But then it's up to you to believe that it will happen. If you don't believe anything that happens,
Yeah.
forget it.
This is then the law of attraction,
Yeah.
being negative. I don't
Absolutely.
deserve. I'm not worthy. Awesome. Okay. So, guys, I hope that was really helpful for you to get a bit of an understanding about intuition. But I'm also going to encourage you. I'm going to put Dave's business page on Facebook. I'm going to put it in the comments below so you know how to find him because he is amazing. I've done readings with him before and he's just phenomenal. I wouldn't bring anybody to you who I didn't truly trust and believe in. So if you're wanting to connect with some loved ones that have passed, sometimes that can be really nice when you're going through a challenging time to know that they're there to support you and that you can call on them. As an aside note, you know, I have a woman that I've just worked with who her nan is with her all the time and she's really rested in when she's having a really challenging time, she'll call on a nan and then she'll get a sign that she's there and it makes her feel really comfortable. So, you know, that is one way to also help. But if you're wanting to get a little bit of guidance, a little bit of confirmation and really try and help you understand what's fear-based, what's desire-based and what really truly is your internal knowing, seek out Dave. And I also would love to, we haven't spoken about this, but putting you on the spot. No, it's just occurred to me. I think that it would be really great for us to do maybe some kind of online training or something,
Absolutely.
some kind of groups or where if you're wanting to learn more about how to develop your intuition and how to move forward, we could probably pull together some online training and then maybe do some group sessions or something with people just to really kind of help you do that. So wait for that. I don't know. We'll figure that out at some point. But please reach out to Dave. And if you do have any questions about this, also just start sharing as well because this is all about a sharing community. So thanks, Dave.
Thank you for your time. I really
Any
appreciate
final
being here.
comments?
Just believe in yourself.
Yeah,
Plain and simple.
beautiful.
We're all amazing beings and you just got to learn to love who and what you are.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.